Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Poem Master video, and in this video we're going to go over Gladion and Silvally as a sync pair, right? So, this guy is a tech unit that does, like, no tech stuff. I mean, the dude is an absolute disgrace to all tech units in this game. Like, the only, like, tech thing he does is, like, on Crush Claw has a good chance of lowering the target's defense. It's not like even guaranteed like minus defense, it's like a good chance. it's like they give him like Rock Smash or something. So yeah, the guy doesn't do anything tech really. He's weird. He's like Silvally's trying to do like a bit of everything, but it's just not like extremely good at anything. Except for I guess Sync Nuke. Dude has a decent Sync Nuke. So there's that. But anyways, let's go over it. So it's a normal type. Starts out as a normal type. Silvally obviously changes its types, right? So take that with a grain of salt. Weak to fighting, that's only when it's normal, right? It changes its weaknesses depending on the type. So that doesn't matter. But again, if you're wondering what normal types, Silvally is, as if anyone cares, because no one's ever going to use normal types of Valley. Unless you just want to save the MP for the trainer move. Because you actually do have to spend an MP for the trainer move to actually change its type. Anyways, moving on. To its stats. So it basically, it's as the Arceus kind of stats, right? 616 HP, and then everything else is 206. So in terms of stats, HP is solid. Solid HP. Attack and special attack are terrible. Defenses are great. Defenses are both over 200, which is fine. Over 200 defenses, and 206 speed is not that great. It's mediocre. So you could draw a lot of similarities between Mew. It's basically Mew, but like worse over here, right, in this department. Well, you have to kind of make Mew a 5-star to begin with, right? But anyways, moving on. So first move, Crush Claw. This is the only tech thing that this guy really has. Normal physical 2-bar, 63 BP, which is actually a pretty high BP move for like a 2-gauge move, because you generally don't have that high BP. That also gives you like some extra like effects and stuff. It is 95% accuracy, which sucks, but oh well. Single target, not the biggest deal in the world. 95 is okay-ish. Has a good chance of lowering the target's defense, so that's the tech part of Silvally. You have a good chance of lowering the opponent's defense on your Crush Claw. Yeah, that's the tech part of Silvally. Moving on to some other stuff. So you do have X attack, to raise your attack, obviously. Then you have multi attack, multi, whatever. Normal, again, normal. It changes. Physical 3-bar, 125 BP, which is a lot. So multi attack has a really high BP. That has 100% accuracy. Again, type change depending on what type you're using for Silvally. So move 4 is My Mind's Made Up, 1 MP. Use it on yourself. Changes the user's type to the target's weakness. This changes user's own weakness and the type of the user's multi-attack and audacious multi-attack. So this is basically how Silvally changes its types and stuff, right? For multi-attack and also its types. And we'll go over like all the weaknesses in a bit. If anyone cares. So yeah, it's only 1 MP, unfortunately. So it's fine. It's I mean, not fine. It's good for stages that only like have one weakness, right? If there's just one row of opponents and they're all just weak to one thing, then I mean, even if the sides are like weak to different things, it's not that big of a deal, because sides usually aren't that hard to get rid of. It's mainly the main ones, but against opponents with different 3 layers of 3 layers of opponents, and they all have like different weaknesses, and this is a bit of an issue because again it only has 1 MP, right? So without the extra stuff, right? So it's a slight issue. It's not that big of a deal, but also do make sure you get the when you're changing types, make sure you don't change into like a type that, if you are using this for attacking, which you can, but generally you kind of want to use this more defensive. I do think it's much better defensively if you use Silvally as a defensive tank, right? But yeah, just make sure, check the weaknesses before changing the types. You don't want to, because you want to do some extra damage with your multi-attack, change into like a type that is super effective against opponent, and then like it turns out like they're going to be super effective against you afterwards, that would be not really good. But if you're using it as striker, I guess it's not that big of a deal. But again, just make sure check weaknesses beforehand. So yeah, that's its main kit. Moving on to the other stuff. So sync move, since it is or at least starts out, and it has a lot of advantages, right? First advantage, multi-attack being very high BP because it's normal. Starts out normal, but it changes, but it still starts out normal, so they give it a high BP. And same thing for Audacious multi-attack over here, right? 300 BP, which is much more than what a normal, well, I wouldn't say much more, it's 50 more, than what a normal sync move would give you. But yeah, again, it also changes types, so it does a decent amount of damage on its sync move. And do keep in mind as well, if you do 6-star EX this guy, you do get an extra 1.5 times on your sync move as well. So, like, this guy is like, if you want to sync nuke with him, he does good there. I just personally think sync nuking is incredibly overrated. Like, why take out your opponent in 4 hits when you can just do that in 2? But anyways, that's a side note. Let's get back to this guy only has one passive, which is Backfire 2, sharply lowers the attack and special attack of all opposing sync pairs, just for the user fans. I've already complained about why I don't like passives like these with Lily. Like, why wait till your sync pair gets taken out to, like, do stuff? I guess this is, like, the other tech thing he does, but it only happens right before he's about to die. I don't like stuff like this. Same thing with Lily. Again, Lily I do think is overall a much better unit. Doesn't really rely on that, but Silvally doesn't rely on this either. I mean, it's kind of whatever. Like, you just don't die. Why do you want your units to die? So yeah, it comes out on 13th, 14th, depending on where you live, right? As usual. So overall, Silvally, first impression, honestly, not that great. It's kind of like Mew, but like not as good. Like, Mew could, like, tank very, very well, as some really nice offensive options as well. With its grid, you got a lot of power-ups on those things, like Weather Surge or whatever, right? Yeah, and then you have First Aid as well on the grid, which we'll get, to be fair to Gladion, we'll get to its grid in a bit. But, just at base, this guy looks kind of underwhelming. Although there is a upside to Gladion Silvally, which I had someone else point out to me, right? It's good for new players to catch up, sorta, on your if you don't have enough strikers with different types. Even though, again, he's not a striker, dude has like 200 attack and special attack. Like, Typhlosion has like 50% more than that, right? So much more. Like, even though he has like really bad offensive stats, like, he has good BP on multi attack, I guess. And you could just change your types to whatever type that you need, generally. So, like, if you just don't have enough different types for a striker, I guess you could pick him up, even though, again, you're not that great of a striker, but it's something, I guess, that you could cover. But in general, I think he's kind of underwhelming. But yeah, let's get into Synchrid, which is, Synchrid is pretty interesting. You got some good stuff in here in the Synchrid. So that's what it looks like. Usual. Let's get into more details instead. Stats. Headstrong, attack can be lowered. Kind of whatever. There's way more like lowering special attack than lowering attacks in this game from opponents. But it's okay. Multi-attack power-ups, which is nice, I guess. Special defense plus 20, whatever. HP advantage 3 is cool, I guess. It's not that big of a buff, boost, but it's something. Super duper effective 2, that works really. I was hoping this guy got like super duper effective like 9 or something, like Palkia, with crit strike. Would have fit him really well, but it's only 2. I mean, it's still something, but could have been better, I guess. But yeah, he got some multipliers, right? It's not like he has nothing. That's what, 3.5 over here, right, at max effectiveness, right? Moving on, Crush Claw power-ups, multi-attack, move gauge refresh, more multi-attack stuff. Stamina Reserve 3, pointless. My mind is made up, hidden heal. This is really, really good, because he does have, like, despite the terrible offense stuff, he does have very, very solid defense stats. So I see a lot of people calling him a striker when he's just much better as a tank in general, right? Yeah, solid defensive stats, good, goodish HP, and then you got hit and heal, which is great. So you gradually heal yourself while you tank stuff. It's nice. It's nice. Again, you don't have the stuff that Mew, like, you don't have the evasion, all that stuff that Mew gives you, but like, this is solid. This is solid, for a tank. Double down 3 powers up sync moves that are super effective. So again, more sync nuke potential for this guy. Moving on, unbending, defense can be lowered. That's definitely nice to pick up. It's only 3 costs, right? It's good to pick up if you're running him as tank. X tech MP refresh, that's whatever. Again, if you're using him as striker, then sure, I guess. More multi-attack power-ups, got a lot of these. Mind's Made Up, a follow through 9, ensures that the user's next attack will be a crit when a move is successful. Bad. Man, you really made me read that much stuff just to be bad. Defense 20, HP 30, got some good stat nodes here, I guess. Crush Claw power up, Crush Claw, move gauge regen, or refresh, whatever. Power up, on a roll. Yay! You have a slightly higher chance of decreasing your opponent's defenses on a Crush Claw. Yay. Moving on, Vigilance. Vigilance is great, right? I think he's a really solid tank. I just think, everyone has Mew already. Burst in ensures that the user's next attack will be a crit. Not terrible. Audacious multi, yeah, that's basically it. So it's good sync nuker, it's a pretty good tank, and if you really are just new to the game, you don't have too many different types of strikers, I guess you could act like a striker for different types, maybe. I don't know. Also debuffs defense sometimes, not all the times, sometimes, decent amount of times. I mean, it's not terrible, the rates aren't terrible, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's that good. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't think he's that great. Yeah, the other two are definitely better overall. Yeah, they shafted our boy. At least, hopefully, we get to listen to his theme remix in the game. I love his theme, which was already a remix of the Mystery Dungeon Fugitive theme. So anyways, that's what I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're new to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. Got one more unit coming up, and I could probably go sleep maybe. Yeah. Anyways, Weezing and James and Weezing. Do you guys say the trainer name first? Generally, I think people say the trainer names first, right? I do that too. I don't know why I said Weezing first, but I did. But yeah. Anyways, James and Weezing coming up in a bit.